Hello, folks. This is Al Smith from Al's Joint. I'm here in Austin, Texas at the Capitol protesting the false imprisonment of Nicole Collier. We're all in this fight together, folks. Let's take the gloves off and let's get at it. Hello, folks. Today I got the pleasure of meeting State Representative Nicole Collier in the State Capitol building, where we had a chance to discuss her fight against the redistricting and the gerrymandering, which threatens to take representation away from people of color in the state of Texas, led by Governor Greg Abbott and his far right-wing nuts as they attempt to do Donald Trump's bidding. What I learned today with my discussion with Representative Collier is that all superheroes don't wear capes. This woman was held captive by those far right-wing nuts in the Republican Party. Told that she could not leave the state Capitol building without signing a permission slip that would allow a police officer to shadow her 24 hours a day. In America, this is getting ridiculous, folks, but Ms. Collier stood up. This rising star in the Democratic Party decided that she was going to fight back and push back against this oppression. So hats off and kudos to her and her staff for fighting the good fight. I want to touch on another subject that causes a lot of heated debate in households. Democrats versus Republican. Those two labels to me are misleading. People say, oh, one's is no different than the other. Look, let's strip those labels away. Let's replace them with progressives / liberals, if you want, and conservatives. Throughout history, conservatives have fought to take the rights and limit rights away from people, while progressives, on the other hand, have been able to do for Americans what I believe the Constitution was created for. Let's think about it. Let's go through this, right? The child labor laws were put into effect because progressives said that children should not be dying in steel mills and coal mines and factories. Conservatives fought that. Social Security under Roosevelt. Conservatives fought Social Security. Progressives said we need Social Security as a safety net so when people retire from work, they were assured that they wouldn't be stuck eating dog food and cat food. Women's right to vote, 1920. That's when white women were allowed to vote. Women of color didn't get to vote till 1965 under the Voting Rights Act. Another progressive administration where conservatives fought tooth and nail to stop women of color from voting. The Civil Rights Act under Kennedy, finished up by Johnson, a progressive administration which with extreme pushback from conservatives and right-wing nuts. Now the Affordable Care Act, otherwise known as Obamacare, another progressive administration, another win for everyday working Americans. 40 million people had access now to affordable health insurance. Folks with pre-existing conditions were no longer turned away. The conservatives fought till their death to prevent that from happening. Thank goodness for the progressives. The National Labor Relations Act. Now this changed the country in a positive way for generations to come because it allowed folks the ability to form unions. It allowed folks, which led to pensions, affordable health insurance, if not free health insurance, wages, 8-hour workday, vacations, sick days, due process at the work site, seniority rights. Bosses couldn't just fire you for any reason. Progressive administration, conservatives fought it, and they continue to fight it to this day. So folks, when people tell you there's no difference between the conservatives and the progressives, just go through history, do your research. Every gain that's been given to everyday hardworking Americans have come from the progressive movement. You don't want to use the word liberal until you realize that that's why you have Social Security. That's why you have a postal system. Do your own research. All those things came because progressive organizations fought for everyday Americans. Thanks for taking time to watch this episode of Al's Joint. Don't forget to hit the share, like, and subscribe buttons below and leave your comments. I want to know what you're thinking. Join me next Friday for our next episode as we continue to fight to keep this country out of the hand of those far right-wing nuts and wannabe dictators. Peace.
This episode of Al's Joint is brought to you by the Peabody Highlander 1975 through 1981 Class Reunion Committee.